All right, welcome everybody. It's Doug with the LincolnList.com, and this is the Stock Market Week review for the 4th of May. Hope everything went well for you during the month of April. As always, if you need help with your trading, feel free to visit the LincolnList.com and take a 14-day free trial to the live trade room. Consistency's been the theme for us all year. Only 4 losing days since January. So if you're really looking to elevate your game or get an edge in this market, LincolnList.com, 14-day free trial. And it doesn't matter what you're trading. It makes no difference because we trade big stocks, little stocks, small stocks, fat stocks, ugly stocks, cute stocks. It makes no difference. If there's opportunity, we're in it and we're taking advantage of it. LincolnList.com. So let's move on to a couple of different stocks that could possibly in play this week. As always, we'll pick up where we left off and talk a little bit about the overall market conditions and the SPY. And we're really at this point now where any red day brings out all of the pundits saying it's now doomsday and bunkers for everyone. It's like this theme, it's like, if you can remember the old nursery rhyme or whatever it was, the little boy who cried wolf, if you remember that story, it's starting to get like that with every time there's a red day. And, certainly there will be a market correction at some point, but that's not what you should be looking forward to every day. You just have to play what the market's going to give you. I mean, if the market's going to go up, you got to play accordingly. If the market's going to crash, you have to have systems in place and strategies in place to take advantage of that, because you just never know how nobody can tell you how the market's going to play out. It could go up, it could go down. You as a trader have to be light, nimble, and quick with your decision making and be able to react. The very best of the best traders, that's what they do. Now, from my end, I stand by what I said in the last couple of these videos, that unless we get under 204 down here where this last couple of supports were in earlier parts of March, then I'm not really, I don't see this thing correcting at all. Certainly there will be bearish stocks. Certain sectors will be parabolic and bullish, and certain sectors in bull markets will turn to bearish sectors. You're sort of playing individual stocks. But if you're overall looking at the market, it was an interesting week. I kind of thought once we poked up above this 211, we'd start to see a little bit more parabolic movement, but we just kind of sold off there. But still, short term, we're holding this trend. Now, maybe if we get under this trend, we test this 204. You'll have some up days and some down days. But as I said, until we get under 204 and start to close under that, then I would switch my stance and say, okay, this market might be in correction mode, and still you would have to tackle even thicker support that goes back to the beginning of the year of 198. So a couple of thoughts there. As I said, it doesn't necessarily reflect daily how you trade your stocks. As I said, there will be tons of stocks that will be going up. On a day like today, there were tons of stocks that were going down, like Yelp, like Twitter, and the rest of them. So there's bearish stocks in bull markets, and there's bullish stocks in bear markets. But if you're overall looking at the market tone, that's what I would be looking at if you're thinking of any kind of correction there. Don't listen to what they're telling you on TV. Unless we get under this number, we're not going anywhere. So let's take a look at a couple of different stocks. First on my list, or at least what I'm going to rank as number one for Monday, has to be this Yum. I brought this up the other day as a potential short, and I just completely forgot about it, which was a good thing, because now, today or on Friday, this thing really broke out again. And we're starting to get to that point where, yeah, it's pretty lofty. Good news, good story, great. But unless you were in at 82, this is probably not the best time to get in. You had a pretty good flag, a couple of good trades there for it today. But going bell to bell, not really closing under into the short-term moving average, could be a little bit of froth here and due for some profit taking. RSI is only 80, so there still is that chance you push maybe to the mid-90s, or who knows, even 100. You might be able to go back to back. Here's how I would play this stock, or the way I would like to look at it, which is what you kind of saw with one of the top plays that we had on the list, which I'll go over in just a little bit, which was IMH. And I'm going to kind of compare the two so you follow along with what we're talking about. That way, if you're trying to look at the strategies we trade, or you're trying to pick up on the system, I'll kind of share it with you a little bit. It helps when you've already got the bullish daily, and then you're a benefactor of a morning parabolic move. So like today, we were really, we talked about IMH last night for our members in the watch list, and we got what we wanted. We got a nice little parabolic move after it's already had run up, and we were able to get some really nice shorts up here towards the top. Not the perfect top, but we were able to get up there nicely and put ourselves in a good position and take advantage of a nice fade. Now, this one itself, which I'll talk about here a little bit later, starting to ramp up, so it might give us another chance. The reason I said that is because Yum, if it could possibly do this number again, that would be a really good setup. I mean, it might turn out like what you saw with IMH. And don't get me wrong, when I'm saying about shorting these, we're not saying that these stocks are going to collapse and go red. Maybe they do. That would be great. But you'll be able to take advantage of chasing. So when people see this big green candle, they're going to be lured in and want to buy this thing. And what we want to do is if we get that parabolic move early, that would just give us that little hint that okay, we got some chasers, we got some euphoria, we can take advantage of a pullback. Now maybe the pullback is relatively small like it was today. You just get a very small 20-30 cent pullback. You just have to take it. Other times you get something a little deeper, like with IMH, where it was $2.50. You get a thicker move. You never know what the move is really going to be, but you have to take the shot, if you know what I'm saying. So bottom line, yum. I like this as a short. I think it would help, or I would like to see a parabolic move early Monday to put us in the best position for shorting. Washouts, gap down, early morning flushes. No, don't chase it into the hole, because if you chase it into the hole, then it's probably going to snap back on you, because that's what late shorts do. Just like chasers go into green candles, there's short chasers too, and they chase into red candles. So don't do that. We've seen too many stocks in this market open up with that morning flush and then turn around and rip on everybody who's trying to get aggressive to the short side. You'd be better off buying it if it's too deep of a flush. A couple of numbers you might want to look at is 90.36 for big breakdowns off of that support. But I would really like to see a big para. If no big para, then, well, it's going to have to be played step by step. I don't know necessarily if I would take it, but definitely on top of the list for a possible short. Now, another one here that's got a pretty interesting look is MGLN. Yes, MGLN. There it is. I got to find this stuff sometimes to mess with my watch list. This is like the reverse para. This thing has really been squashed, pretty bad here over 2 days. RSI is not like super low. Sometimes these things will get down into single digits, which makes them nice. But you are approaching a couple of decent support spots. Obviously, today you got into that level from the beginning of January right here. It flushed underneath that, but you got really major support by at 57.98. I didn't see this one earlier. Found this one doing some scans a little bit later after market, or I would have been much more interested in especially taking some down here at the 59, being so close to December and early January support. Kind of looking to play it the same way. What we don't want to do in these situations, like I mentioned with Yum, is you don't want to chase the move, because if you chase the move, maybe you get away with that a few times. Congrats to you. But over the course of 15, 20 trades, you're going to hate your life, and trading is going to be a miserable career for you. The thing I'm not liking right now is it already put in a little bit of a bounce here, so there's going to have to be an intraday setup. It would be nice if it would come back and test this level again down here, maybe even make a higher low, and then kind of bounce, giving you a good little area to put your stop in. If it starts to spike, there's absolutely no way I would chase it. Just like if it starts to a parabolic would dump in the morning, no way I would chase that either. Too many of those things reverse their nature. If it got out of control, I'd actually be looking at possibly going the other way. I would like to long this stock. Going to need a little bit of help because, as I said, this little $1.50 rip here late in the session, that kind of took some of the shine off of this. It would be nice if it was still flat and then get a good flush Monday and then pick that thing up down into here, but it doesn't quite look like that's going to happen. Maybe it does. Maybe it does gap down. You get one more flush. I'm going to keep it up on the list, see if it lines up perfectly. MGLN. Now, SKX is another one that I was talking about last week. I got Yum and this SKX I talked about. I thought if we broke down, underneath of some of this level here, once the market was weak there, I thought, well, maybe this one will start breaking down some of the support. Could be a nice little short. The alert never triggered, and as I was looking at it Friday, I'm like, oh, look at this thing. It's flagging up here. So this looks like this thing is going to at least try. Can't say it's going to be a successful attempt, but it looks like this thing's going to try to push its way up towards 100. And I would think once it started sniffing 93, 94, if that was the case, you would probably see that. Now, would I buy it here and hold it to 100? No, I'm a day trader, so I would just be trading 60, 70 cent moves on this stock, if that. So there could be multiple trades before it really clears itself out. You got an 83 RSI. That's kind of steep, but the new normal for the market is 90. You got to get up there real high where things look asinine before you can really start shorting them. But I like it. I like it. I don't like the way it looked intraday today, but this daily chart's got some sex appeal to it, so I want to keep it on the list and see what we might be able to do with this one. See if it's strong. If we start getting over some of this area, it was a little bit of rejection there. So this 91.85, 92 is pretty important. Keep an eye on that. You start pushing above that, starts acting as good support, gets pulled back into some of those numbers and building a base. Could be a quality opportunity for a triple digit run. And then I'll go back to IMH. I talked a little bit about this one with Yelp. I love these. Daggone, I love these things. This was the big trade for us on Friday. It just lined up perfect, as I said. And I'll be the first one to tell you. You listen to a lot of other people who run services. They act like all their damn trades are perfect. They're not. These trading is difficult for all of us. Sometimes you get good stuff. Sometimes you get bad stuff. Sometimes good looking opportunities turn to crap, and sometimes you just get lucky. And as I mentioned, we got what we wanted, and that's just nice when that happens. I wanted para. We got para. The stock was played almost to perfection, covered up for a nice gain. And, I just kind of checked out early here on Friday, and I come back, I'm like, oh, looky here. Who wants a little more action? I mean, you're up here at 26.91. Wow. The short trade's still on, guys. I think it's just going to open up another opportunity to do shorting. And as I said, this sometimes happens. You get into the short, and you make some good money, but sometimes you get these wild moves. This thing come flipping right back on you. It's like if you would have held, you wouldn't have hardly any money now. So you never know in this market what's going to happen from 1 minute to the next. You have to take your profits sometimes when they're on the table, or at least pay yourself on the way down, and never get too greedy or expect too much from some of these moves. Having said all of this, still a 96 RSI. This is mega overbought. And again, I'm not trying to say that this company's a pile of crap. It's not a $50 stock in 6 months. That's not the point. The point is, if you were a buyer of this stock, you needed to be buying it at 15 or 17, not at 26. You're chasing that move, and short term, those people who bought earlier are going to want to take that. It's going to pull back, and it's going to need to rest and build a base before it makes its next up leg. This particular move you're looking at is possibly exhausting. Now, you might see 27 or 28 there, maybe on a good day 30, but I think the same thing stands. You pull me out another para in the morning on Monday, I'll be all over this thing again. I mean, that's the trade I have to take. I would long it if it would set up better, but that's not where the risk to reward is. So let's look at this one. 96 RSIs just typically do not hold. You saw what happened to VLTC when that thing got up there, and that. I mean, this one had a lot more percent move, and certainly a lot more hype surrounded by it. But you see what happens when they start poking their head around. This one had about a 96, so by the time you got there, you got a pretty good pull. Now, I wouldn't expect IMH. It's not, like I said, it's not quite the Momo train or the pump job that was done on this one. But still, a high RSI is a high RSI, and as we say, the RSI don't lie. So this one's probably due for a pretty good pullback. I was kind of interested and excited, as you can tell, that it actually spiked a little. Looks like it can spike again. I'll get another chance to pick up some money on this little thing. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Anyway, that's all I got. As I said, I hope you guys had a really good month, and I hope whatever you started at the beginning of the year. We're almost approaching the halfway point. And we all have goals, usually at the first of the year, New Year's resolutions. We kind of have some sort of goal of what we want to improve as a trader. Some of you who started at the beginning of the year are on target, and some of you are way the hell off, and you're just wondering whether or not this is the right thing for you to do. And I've been in that situation. I don't know what it's like to sit there and pound your head relentlessly trying to grasp what's going on. And right now you're just inundated with all kinds of information and all kinds of people saying this is the way to trade. You got social media just flooding you with this is the way to trade. This is the hot stock. This is the best chart pattern. This is the way it works. None of that stuff is true. What matters is what works for you. This game is always about you and will always be about you. And you've got to find out what works for you in your systems, your strategies, and perfect that and find your niche inside of this monster called the market. You've got to do that because you can't trade all of these stocks. You can't trade every single instrument every second of the day. You can do too much. You can look at too many things. You can look at too many indicators. You can try to get too many verifications. But the more that you do that, the worse it's going to get. So really, if you're looking for some help, don't wander off there like a little lost sheep. Get into LincolnList.com, see the live trading room, see if it's a fit for you, see if you can learn anything. 14-day free trial. Costs you nothing to check it out. You'll probably catch a couple of great 1980 stories. Maybe hear a little singing. Who knows? But nonetheless, hopefully you'll learn something, and hopefully you'll stick around. Other than that, you guys have a great start to the month. Have a great May. At any time you need to reach out to me for anything, my email is service@thelincolnlist.com. Take care of yourself. Talk to you soon.